The other day I was visiting my girlfriend's family and we were chatting a bit with her 16-year-old nephew. He had recently gotten a job at McDonald's and, well, he was loving it. He said that he feels like he's getting some good value out of the job, good skills, he's making some money now. He goes to work with a smile on his face and he says that he thinks he's keeping the customers coming back for more. Those were his words. Now, he told us that that mentality didn't sit well with one of his customers who came in complaining that working at McDonald's is slave labor designed so that you're making money for someone else. Oh, you've heard all this before. But then this customer was complaining that all the burgers cost different amounts of money, saying that he should be able to buy a Big Mac for the same amount as a cheeseburger because it's not fair that some of the burgers cost more money than others because they're all burgers. After hearing the story, I proclaimed burger neutrality. What a stroke of genius. As we know, some very good, sound reasoning goes into defending net neutrality. I've taken the Wikipedia article on net neutrality and I've replaced keywords with almost a one-to-one relationship so that we can see how well this net neutrality logic applies to burger neutrality. And who knows, maybe I'm onto something here. Now, I won't do the whole article because it's long and because usually the farther down each paragraph you get, it usually gets into a lot of references, citations, studies, opinions, and things like that out of context don't really make any sense, but I did the best I could. Okay, here's the introduction. Burger neutrality is the principle that burger joints treat all burgers on the franchise equally and not discriminate or charge differently by customer, ingredients, location, seating requirements, utensils, or whether or not they have a car or method of ordering. For instance, under these principles, burger joints are unable to intentionally refuse service, slow down, or charge money for specific locations or ingredients. A widely cited example of a violation of burger neutrality principles was the franchise service provider McDonald's secretly slowing or throttling of service from walk-in customers to prioritize their drive-thru by neglecting to include ketchup packets in walk-in orders. So there you have it. It sounds pretty reasonable, but let's get down to the arguments in favor of net neutrality, and we'll go over each one here. The first one here on the list is control of beef. Supporters of burger neutrality in the United States want to designate burger companies as public kitchens, which would require them to allow other burger joints free access of their cattle, the same model used for dial-up internet. They want to make sure that burger companies cannot screen, interrupt, or filter orders without a court order. Public kitchen status would give the FDA the power to enforce burger neutrality rules. It's kind of scary. This is making way too much sense. Alright, now the next thing on the list is rights and freedoms. Proponents of burger neutrality argue that a neutral economy will foster creation of new recipes and lead to further democratic participation in the burger creation process. What kind of a moronic bozo of a paid shill would argue with that? What, you're gonna tell me that that doesn't sound good? Who are you, Hitler? Alright, now listen carefully, this one is really important. User intolerance for slow service. Proponents of burger neutrality invoke the human psychological process of adaptation where people get used to something better, they would never want to go back to something worse. In the context of burger joints, the proponents argue that customers who get used to the drive-thru would find walk-ins intolerable in comparison, greatly disadvantaging any pedestrian who is unable to pay for a car in order to access the drive-thru. So far so good. The next section is competition and innovation. Burger neutrality advocates argue that allowing burger companies the right to demand a toll or tip to guarantee quality or premium delivery would create an exploitive business model based on the burger company's position as gatekeepers. Advocates warn that by charging customers for access, large franchise conglomerates controlling the cattle ranches may be able to block competitor restaurants, as well as refuse access to those unable to pay. Next up, preserving burger standards. Burger neutrality advocates have sponsored legislation claiming that authorizing incumbent burger providers to override transport and restaurant layer separation on the product chain would signal the decline of fundamental burger standards and international consensus authority. Further, the legislation asserts that package shaping the transported beef will undermine the beef's designed usability in burgers. I'm going to be perfectly honest, I'm a pretty technical guy and I do not understand that, but it sounds bad. Preventing pseudo services. Alec Burgerwaj, founder of Epic Privacy Browser, argues that violations of burger neutrality, realistically speaking, will not involve genuine investment, but rather payoffs for unnecessary and dubious services. He believes that it is unlikely that new investment will be made to build new restaurants to increase accessibility to hungry patrons. Rather, he believes that non-burger neutrality will involve leveraging quality of service to extract tips from paying customers who want to avoid crappy service. Oh my god, that sounds just like the world we already live in. This must be legit. And the last one on the list here is the end-to-end principle. Some advocates say burger neutrality is needed in order to maintain the end-to-end principle. According to Lawrence Letisig and Robert McChesney, all burgers must be treated the same and customers must be served at the same speed in order for burger neutrality to be true. They say that it is this simple but brilliant end-to-end aspect that has allowed burgers to act as a powerful force for economic and social good. Under this principle, a restaurant is a dumb network, merely passing orders and burgers regardless of who is ordering them. So that's it. Now I have to say, guys, what I was hoping to find was a concise and compact logical argument for why net neutrality is a moral good. And I really wish that I could have found one, because then this video would have been so much shorter and so much more compact, and it would have been easier to make and just easier to analyze these logical arguments. But unfortunately, a logical argument for net neutrality does not appear to exist, probably because logic is not a requirement for politics. But that's okay, because I've gone through every single point that was on the Wikipedia page, and I think that they support quite well the argument for burger neutrality. So I would say that the crazy guy in the McDonald's was right, and that if you are for net neutrality, you should be for burger neutrality, because really there's no difference fundamentally between one or the other. And it seems to me that you would be a logically inconsistent hypocrite if you were for one but not the other. Because mind you that we are asking the fundamental question, is it right or is it wrong that we enforce net neutrality? But I have to say, these are pretty compelling arguments, and I'm pretty much convinced. I mean, fuck it, let's go full out burger neutrality. Big burgers, small burgers, multiple patties, different ingredients, Angus, beef sirloin, cardboard, or rotting flesh. I don't think it should matter, because all burgers should be equal in the eyes of burger neutrality. Thanks for watching, and subscribe for more JS Economics.